G'day and welcome to City Skylines. We're back in Amity Bay, a modded Let's Play series on my channel. So in this video, I want to jump all the way over to our incredible dam here. Firstly, a feat of engineering excellence from Sanctum Gamer, who built this map. I know every time I try and create a dam in the game, it either floods everywhere upstream, or I can only get 100 to 120 megawatts max out of them. And this bad boy is producing 1638 megawatts. And considering we're only consuming about 300 megawatts just now, it's going to keep us in electricity for a very, very long time. And check this out. If I turn it to nighttime, I went a little further and put some lighting on this so it really pops at night. How cool is that? Love this. It's such a great focal point of this map. So I really want to do something a little different around this dam. We had a cool suggestion way back in our big box retail video from Zach West, and the idea of putting in a lookout. I haven't forgotten Zach, as I thought what better place to put a lookout than right up here with incredible views right over Amity Bay, and particularly the downtown when we come to build that. So I want to put a lookout up here, and also I want to put in some kind of infrastructure here, as currently once the energy is produced from the water flowing through the dam, we don't really see anything else. So I thought what we could do is create our own and make it look like there's a small facility here that converts the energy from the very high voltages that this would produce to the normal voltages that would then be sent out around the city. And if we're going to go that far, it'd look weird up here all on its own, so we'll need some housing or something up here too, as the plants would need workers in real life. But today, our focus is on the power plants and a lookout, rather than residential expansion. So we'll do the housing part in the background and just show you the finished product at the end. Right, I'm excited to get started, so while I speed build this out, let's fast forward. Okay, let's take a look. So firstly, I widened up the 2-lane road that came with the map for a 4-lane road, as I really like the way that road snakes up here, but there is no way that 2 lanes will sustain traffic if we keep expanding up here. It's one way in and one way out for the time being, so let's not cause ourselves any traffic jams. Don't get me wrong, we're not putting high rises up here or anything, but still, there will be a decent amount of traffic just from building anything up here, to be honest. Then, I don't really normally bother with renaming roads unless it's for something specific, but I thought we really should do that up here, as this dam is one of the key focal points of this entire map. So here we have Amity Dam Avenue and Amity Dam Drive. So starting over this side, I've used the geothermal power plant on either side of the dam here. Firstly, because I think it's such an underrated asset. I love it. Super cool with the steam rising from it and all the pipe work. Secondly, because I think it really suits the look we're trying to achieve here. The water rushing through the dam below, and there'd likely be massive turbines inside that spin as that happens. Then that electricity has to go somewhere. So when we detail this up, we'll use pipes and substations to make it look authentic. The pipes I'm going to use from the workshop are terrain conforming, so you can't move them higher or lower without moving the terrain underneath them as well. I'd have put pipes down onto the bottom part of the dam as well, but I couldn't find any pipes I liked on the workshop. But we'll make it work, no problem at all. Then over this side, 2 more geothermal power plants. This key along here I'm using is called Paved Concrete Key by Vecchio Cristo. Definitely worth a try, particularly in this setting here, as I knew I wanted to run it into the wall of the dam here, so the vanilla one just wouldn't cut it. Then an incineration plant and some more industrial buildings. The incineration plant's required for servicing the little town I built over here in the background for garbage. So I've named this the town of Henderson, which is a nod to Hoover Dam actually. I wanted the closest town near Hoover Dam, but that's actually Boulder City, and I didn't think that was quite appropriate. So Henderson was next door to that and sounded much better. So the town of Henderson here would have sprung up originally to house the dam maintenance and operation workers. So we have the main street here, and the game named it Manor Boulevard, which I think is actually quite funny. So I thought, well, why not? And lined it with these lovely posh looking houses from the University City CCP. I think these are so nice. I bobbed off the vanilla trees, but I left the fruit ones. I know they're a little low res when you zoom in, but from afar, I love the splash of colour, so they're staying. Nothing fancy here though. A main street with shops, the big mansion houses, schools, a sports field, and I popped a little bus station in here so we could get an intercity bus line going from Fairview to here and back again, and another local one that's just a circle line. Then, over the other side, I used the more rundown houses as we step back off the main boulevard. I think eventually we'll need to bring rail or something like that up here to get these sims out of here and moving around the wider city, because as much as this town was put down to make it look like the residents work maintaining and operating the dam, the game mechanics obviously don't work that way, so they'll be driving all the way down the hill to their jobs in other areas of the city. Probably if we expand this in time as well and add more commercial and industrial, it would be less of a problem, but I'm stopping at this size for now. Then over to our lookout, so starting back here, I've just popped in a car park, as I can imagine people driving up here for the day to come and visit, but then decided actually another park maintenance building and road maintenance depot would work well as a little cluster in here. Especially with the road maintenance depot, it has this little seating area on the side, so I wanted to make sure that that pointed towards that incredible view. Then the lookout itself, a couple of nature reserve viewing decks, and then I've used Move It to squidge in a restaurant pier as well. Because I don't know about you, but I can imagine coming up here for lunch and sitting out on that deck to take in that view. It would be spectacular. I've used nature reserve paths in here, the version with lights, as it looks super nice at nighttime all lit up. And the nature reserve paths look so nice as elevated paths as well, with the wooden decking and lichen. I've repeated the rocks that were part of the map lower down and brought them up on the hill here, and then wound the paths around them, and also sat some of the viewing decks and the restaurant pier on them as well, as though the stilts are built into the rock for support to hold them up. In all honesty, without the rocks, they look ridiculous perched up in the air like that, so the rock makes it look way more legit. Here I've got rocks all over the path, and actually I'm okay with that. They're part of the rock asset themselves, and I can imagine up here that rocks will dislodge and fall all over the path over time, so I'm happy to leave them there, to be honest. And there we have it. So now just a bit of detailing and I think we're good. I've got a couple of assets from the workshop as I wanted to add some sort of a transformer or substation type asset when I detailed these geothermal plants up, but I couldn't find anything I liked. This substation was promising, but when you put it down, I'm just not happy with the level of detail here. It's just not really detailed enough in terms of the textures of the flat surfaces. Don't get me wrong, I could not make an asset at all, so respect to anybody for even attempting one. It is not an easy thing to do at all. But the closest I could get is this little electricity relay station by Pipework. And it'll need a little bob work here, as I don't like the fence or the solar panels, but the rest is fine, and I think we can do something with them. So let's get stuck in and see what we can do. Rightio, let's see how the finished build turned out. So starting with our geothermal plants, I've sunk the pipes into the concrete wall here, as though they come up from down below. I used two types of pipe, a thicker one for water and a thinner one for electricity. The big water ones go into these units here, which are actually just aircon unit props, but I wanted to make it look like the water was pumped up and the steam vented. I used a vanilla steam marker on top there, so it fits in with the rest of the geothermal vents as part of that asset, and then it just blends in a little better. These pipe assets are so much fun. I had to rein myself in and just keep it sensible, or I'd have had pipes running all over the place. Some vanilla industrial assets here that I bumped the spawn points over, as I wanted them to look like they were part of this whole area, but they're actually functioning vanilla industry buildings. Lots of rough concrete decals, then just picking up cues from the geothermal assets and adding additional props to make each one a little more unique. So if one had 2 containers, adding 3 on the other side to differentiate, that type of thing. Then around this side, the transformers had gravel underneath them weirdly. In fact, the big steam vents did too, but I got rid of that. I'm not convinced that would be sat on dirt, but maybe I'm wrong. But I prefer it to look like concrete. So over the road here is our little substation. I put a gravel path around, then mixed in concrete as well. So it picks up cues from the transformer that sits opposite. A little area with benches for the Sims to enjoy during their breaks. Car parking, obviously. Then you know I love a barrier and CCTV. I use them so much, I love them. So I've turned this into a secure compound type area. I'm sure if this was real, it would probably be pretty secure. Then I just repeated this all over the other side, just on a smaller scale. I didn't want a mirror image, I wanted 2 on one side, 1 on the other, as I think that looks nicer. Then if we bump off the lights, I lit them all up with yellow lighting. I just love the way it looks at night. Don't forget to turn the lights off in your city and dot some lighting around. I think the nighttime views are so underrated in this game, so don't forget to give your city some lighting love. Then over this spectacular bridge here, I would love driving across this. I'd be doing U's to keep going back and forth all the time. Then to our lookout. Not too much required here, dotted the trees about and just made sure they didn't block those incredible views. Lots of fern ground cover. These rocks actually come with that, so just picking up those details and repeating them, really just bringing it alive and make it all look like it's been here all the time. I am living for these footbridges with the lichen on them as well. They suit this so much. And then I was having an issue with the gateless nature reserve gates. So if you're wondering why this is a normal park and not a nature reserve, that's why. When I put them in and try to line them up, they are super wonky and they just looked awful. I have no idea why. Maybe the terrain not being flat or something like that. I mean, it is a mod to be fair, so who knows. Then in with some nature reserve fencing, mostly around the road here to separate the Sims from the traffic, flying around the bend there. And the last little bit is the road maintenance depot and the park maintenance area. A little light detailing here, more tables outside and a little flower bed. Planters out the front. And a few props like we've done previously with these tankers, which could carry fertilizer for the gardens all over the city, and a little truck waiting for a load of sand or dirt. And we're good! I think it turned out so nice, another unique and interesting way to spice up our amazing dam here, and a cool interpretation of a lookout. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Well, that's it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. If you're on Discord, jump over to my Discord community for a chat. And until next time, take care, have a great day, and thanks again for watching.